Welcome to the deep dive. We're here to unpack complex ideas and make them really clear and usable. Today, we're jumping into some pretty fascinating ancient wisdom. It's from the Sutta Pitaka, specifically the Sutta Nikaya.
It's right.
Our goal really is to pull out the practical insights from these texts about, well, a path to well-being, a foundational one. You've brought these amazing sources, and I think we're ready to dig in. Let's unpack this.
Yeah, absolutely. These texts, they lay out this incredible framework. It's often called the Noble Eightfold Path. And what's really interesting, I think, isn't just the list of 8 things. It's the analogies they use, the richness of it, and how clearly they explain what the path helps you understand, what you need to abandon, what you realize, and what you cultivate. It's very, very systematic, a kind of blueprint for the mind.
Okay, so the Noble Eightfold Path, let's start there. For someone maybe new to this, what are the 8 core elements? What are we actually talking about here?
Sure. So the path includes right view, right intention, then right speech, right action, right livelihood, followed by right effort, right mindfulness, and finally, right concentration.
Okay.
And the sources really emphasize these aren't just concepts you think about, they're active practices, things you have to cultivate. The word they use is bhaveti.
So it's an active development, not passive learning.
Exactly. Intentional development.
And where does this cultivation lead? What's the sort of ultimate aim or orientation described in these texts?
Well, they highlight 4 main outcomes, or maybe destinations, you could say. Gives you a real sense of where it's heading. First, it's described as being grounded in seclusion, detachment, leading towards dispassion, cessation, and ending in relinquishment.
Relinquishment, like letting go.
Precisely, letting go of the things that burden you. Second, it's said to culminate in the complete removal of greed, hatred, and delusion.
The big 3.
The big 3, yeah. The core mental pollutants, really. Third, it tends towards, and ultimately ends in the deathless.
The deathless. What does that imply?
It often points towards, well, ultimate freedom, an unshakable, profound peace, maybe even immortality in a spiritual sense.
Wow. Okay. And the 4th?
The 4th orientation is that it inclines towards, tends towards, and leads directly to nibbana.
Or nirvana.
Nirvana, which is that ultimate state of peace we hear about.
That's the one. The ultimate peace and liberation.
That gives us a strong sense of the destination. But, okay, how do you actually develop this path? You mentioned analogies.
Yes.
The texts apparently use some really vivid ones to make it more tangible. This is where I think it gets really interesting.
Oh, absolutely. They used everyday things to explain really deep truths. It's brilliant. Like, take the earth as a foundation. Okay. The texts say, just like any strength-producing works, building something strong, need the earth to stand on. The cultivation of this Noble Eightfold Path needs moral discipline, or sīla, as its foundation.
Ah, okay. So ethical conduct isn't just optional. It's the starting point, the ground itself. It's essential. It's the fertile soil, you could say, where everything else can actually grow.
I like that. Solid ground. What other pictures do they paint?
Well, there's the idea of seeds and growth. It's like, just as any seed or plant grows strong when it's rooted properly in the earth, a practitioner who cultivates the Eightfold Path, grounded in that same moral discipline, experiences real growth, increase, and development in the Dhamma.
So it shows it's a progressive thing. It builds over time.
Exactly. It's organic growth, not instant.
Okay.
Then there's a really lovely one, the elephant's journey.
An elephant. Okay.
Yeah, imagine young elephants up in the Himalayas mountains growing strong. Then they gradually come down through smaller rivers and streams until they reach the great ocean, becoming truly huge, immense.
Right.
In the same way, a bhikkhu, a monastic, cultivating this path, relying on that moral discipline, it achieves this great abundance in the Dhamma. It shows the journey from, initial steps to really profound attainment, vastness.
That's a great image of scale and progression. These analogies really do make it click, like the one about the leaning tree.
Oh, that's a powerful one, yes.
Tell us about that.
Okay, so imagine a tree that has always leaned towards the east.
Right.
If you cut it at the root, which way is it going to fall?
East, obviously. It has to.
Exactly. It inevitably falls eastward. So the insight is, if you consistently, diligently cultivate this Eightfold Path, your mind, your whole being, just naturally inclines towards, tends towards, and leads to nibbana.
So you build this unstoppable momentum. You can't help but head in that direction eventually.
Precisely. It becomes your natural inclination. And tied to that is the idea of the overturned pot.
An overturned pot. How does that work?
Well, think about it. If a pot is upside down, it only pours water out.
Right.
Can't take any water back in.
Okay.
In the same way, someone cultivating the path pours out evil, unwholesome qualities and does not take them back.
So it's about irrevocably letting go. Old habits can't creep back in once the pot's tipped over.
Exactly. It's a real transformation, not just putting a lid on things temporarily. You're emptying out the negativity for good.
A permanent shift. That really speaks to dealing with things like ignorance, those deep-seated issues. Is there an analogy for that?
There is, and it's quite striking. The well-placed barley beard.
A barley beard. Sounds prickly.
It is. Imagine a really sharp, pointed barley beard. If you step on it just right, yeah, ouch, it pierces your hand or foot, draws blood. The image emphasizes that when right view and the cultivation of the path are well-placed, meaning applied precisely, skillfully, ignorance is broken decisively. True knowledge arises, and nibbana is realized.
So precision matters.
Yeah.
How you apply the path is crucial for cutting through that deep ignorance. It's not fuzzy.
Not at all. Directness and precision are key.
Okay, these analogies are incredibly helpful. So moving beyond the journey itself, what specific insights does the path give you? What kind of, let's say, internal work does it actually help you do?
Right. The texts are very clear about what the path helps you engage with and ultimately transform. They lay out 4 categories of phenomena, or dhamma. First, there are things to be fully understood.
Okay, like what?
Primarily, the 5 aggregates of clinging. These are basically the building blocks of our sense of self. Our physical form, feelings, perceptions, mental formations or intentions, and consciousness itself.
So understanding ourselves, essentially.
Understanding the components of what we take to be self, yes. And crucially, understanding them as impermanent, constantly changing, and not some fixed me you can hold on to.
Yeah.
That insight is foundational.
Right. Breaking down that solid sense of I. What's the second category?
Second is what needs to be abandoned.
Abandon, like getting rid of something.
Exactly. And the main things here are ignorance, avijja, and craving for existence, bhavatancha.
Ignorance and craving. Why those specifically?
Because they're seen as the root causes of dukkha, of suffering and dissatisfaction. The path helps you systematically see them and let them go. Uproot them.
Makes sense. So understand, then abandon. What's next?
Third is what needs to be realized.
Realized.
Yeah.
Like attained.
Yes, experienced directly. This is knowledge vidhā, the opposite of ignorance and liberation vimutti.
So the positive goals. Freedom.
These are the direct experiential fruits of the path. Not just ideas, but lived realities. Profound insight, profound freedom.
Okay, understand, abandon, realize. And the fourth.
Finally, what needs to be developed or cultivated. Back to that word, bhava.
And what are those?
This is where the core meditative practices come in. Tranquility, samatho, and insight, vipassana.
Calmness and clarity.
Exactly. Deep concentration and clear seeing. These are the tools, the engines that really drive the whole process along the path.
That's a remarkably clear structure. Understand, abandon, realize, develop. Very practical. And the texts also seem to keep mentioning these threefold categories, like recurring patterns of maybe delusion or experience that the path addresses.
Yes, absolutely. It's fascinating how consistently the Eightfold Path is presented as the specific remedy for these core sets of obstacles. For instance, you have the threefold seekings.
Seekings. What are we seeking?
Well, the texts identify our tendency towards sensual seeking, chasing pleasures. Then there's seeking for existence, just wanting to continue to be. And interestingly, even seeking for the holy life itself, if it becomes another form of craving or attachment.
So even spiritual goals can become a trap.
They can, if there's attachment behind them. The path helps you see through the seeking itself, whatever its object.
Interesting. What other threefold patterns?
Another major one is the threefold conceits.
Conceits, like arrogance.
Sort of.
Yeah.
It's more about the fundamental ways we compare ourselves to others, the habits of thinking, I am better, I am equal, or I am inferior.
The comparison mind. We all do that.
Constantly. And it causes so much suffering. The path works to systematically dismantle these ingrained self-perceptions. It leads you towards genuine equanimity, where that constant up and down comparing dissolves.
So it's about getting free from defining ourselves against others. That sounds incredibly liberating.
It really is.
And it seems like the path tackles those core issues, greed, hatred, delusion, again and again, right? Regardless of what label they get.
That's absolutely right. Whether they're called corruptions, āsava, stumbling blocks, khīla, defilements, mala, or hindrances, nīgha, the texts are relentless. Greed, hatred, and delusion are pinpointed repeatedly as the fundamental impurities.
And the Eightfold Path is?
The direct antidote, the medicine. It leads to their complete fading away and removal. It also specifically addresses the threefold sufferings, or dukkhatā.
3 kinds of suffering.
Yes. There's the obvious kind, painful suffering, physical or mental pain, dukkha. Then there's suffering due to formation, sakkara, the inherent unsatisfactoriness of just being conditioned, of things constantly changing and being dependent on other things.
Or the background hum of instability.
Exactly. And finally, suffering due to change, Vihāravaggo, the fact that even pleasant things are impermanent and will end, which is itself a subtle form of suffering.
Okay, so the path helps you understand and overcome all those layers.
Yes, and relatedly, the threefold feelings, vedanā, pleasant, painful, and neither pleasant nor painful.
Right, our basic reactions.
The path helps you see their transient nature. You learn not to automatically cling to the pleasant or push away the unpleasant. You develop equanimity towards feelings themselves.
It's really striking how consistent that message is across these different categories. Understand the pattern, apply the path, find freedom from it. So zooming in on the person doing this work, the texts mention the bhikkhu or the learner. What does this journey mean for them? What kind of transformation are we talking about on a personal level?
Well, the Vihāravaggo section gives a really interesting perspective, almost intimate. It talks about the Buddha's own experience after periods of retreat. He realized, it says, that all feelings doesn't matter if they come from right practice or wrong practice, or even just from desire or thought, they keep arising until the underlying faculties, like perception and thought themselves, become fully settled.
So it's not just about managing feelings, but transforming the very roots of experience.
Exactly. It points to a really profound, deep, internal settling, not just surface changes.
And you mentioned the term learner earlier. Sekha, what does that mean in this context?
Yes, a sikha. The texts define a learner very specifically. It's someone who is endowed with all 8 components of the Noble Eightfold Path.
Ah, so it's not just someone studying.
No, not at all. It makes it crystal clear. You're a learner because you are actively integrating these 8 principles into your life. You're living the path even if you haven't reached the final goal, full liberation yet.
It's about the practice itself defining you as being on the path.
Precisely. It's a living practice. And going further, the texts draw a very clear line about what constitutes the holy life brahmacariya and what doesn't.
Oh, how do they define that?
They explicitly state that the wrong eightfold path, wrong view, wrong intention, and so on, based on unwholesome states, that is not the holy life.
Okay, clear enough.
Conversely, the Noble Eightfold Path is the holy life. Simple as that.
So the path is the practice.
Yes. And the true culmination, the real fruit of this holy life, is defined as the destruction of greed, hatred, and delusion. And someone who is endowed with this Noble Eightfold Path, who is living it. They are called a brahmacari, literally, one who walks the holy life.
That's incredibly direct. It leaves no ambiguity about what this spiritual journey actually is and what its purpose is. And one final point that seems important from the sources this past, this understanding, it's not something you just stumble upon, is it? It's not obvious.
That's a crucial point they make. Precisely. The texts state quite clearly that these 8 qualities of the path, in their pure, undefiled form, they arise only with the appearance of a tathāgata, which means a Buddha, or in the Sugata's discipline, meaning within the Buddha's teaching and community.
So it implies this isn't just common sense that anyone can figure out easily.
Exactly. It suggests this profound teaching is a specific discovery, requiring the unique, awakened insight of a Buddha. And it needs a tradition, a lineage, to transmit it effectively.
It really underscores how precious this teaching was considered, something discovered and carefully passed down.
Yes, the deliberate nature of it. It's not just floating in the air. It's a specific revealed path.
Wow. Okay. So we've really taken quite a deep dive here. We've looked at the Noble Eightfold Path from these ancient texts. We've covered its core components, its multiple aims or destinations, those fantastic analogies that make it so real. And how it's applied to understand and transform these fundamental human challenges, conceit, craving, suffering. It feels like a truly comprehensive guide.
It really is a guide to cultivating deep peace and wisdom. And I think the key thing, maybe the takeaway for you listening, is that this isn't just, ancient history or religious doctrine stuck in books. Think about how consciously aligning your everyday life, your actions, your words, even your thoughts with these 8 principles how that might subtly but powerfully begin to redirect the whole current of your life.
Like that river analogy.
Exactly like the river naturally finding its way to the ocean, or like the overturned pot, how seemingly small acts of intentionally letting go, practiced consistently, can start to dismantle really deeply rooted patterns of suffering. This ancient wisdom, it's offered as a practical method, a step-by-step guide for living with more clarity, more freedom, right here and now.
A truly transformative perspective and one with practical steps you can actually take. That's incredibly valuable. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive today. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning.